Welcome back, everyone, to Hands On. It's the podcast for Tri-County Technical Center. I'm your host, Owen Snow. Today we got another guest with us today, Jason Partridge, who's the metals instructor. Hi. So you're the instructor at metals, but what does a typical day look like for your class?
A typical day for us looks like some students arrive, they get ready, they have their own lockers just like they would in a regular school, and get their safety shoes and boots on, get their notebooks, paper, writing utensils. Beginning of the year, we do a lot in the classroom as far as lessons, covering what we're going to be going over for the day, and then we'll go out into the shop typically and have 3 to 4 hours a day out there and do hands-on activities in the shop and have everybody do a variety of projects.
What kind of projects are you working on currently?
Currently, where it's the end of the year, we're up to some more advanced stuff on laser, making a ball peen hammer. Every student gets that opportunity to produce their own hammer from raw stock and have a finished showpiece to, showcases all of their skills of what they've learned throughout the year.
Cool. Cool. Metals. Cool. So you guys like make certain things out of metal, and I know you guys do welding. Can you talk more about welding?
Yep. So we do have some basic welding capabilities. Students that are interested in that, which seems to be pretty popular for them. So we've got the basic stick, MIG, and TIG welding for those of you who have an idea of what that encompasses. Stick is more for the structural side, along with MIG, and your TIG welds are more of the pipe fitting applications and finish applications of assembled parts. So we do cover some basic introductory welding techniques and concepts.
Nice.
Along with the course.
Welding does sound cool. It's
a very neat process. And
yeah, I agree with you on that. So how long have you been the instructor here for metals manufacturing?
Yeah, so this is actually my first year as the instructor. So I've been here since August when the school year started, and I've learned right along with the students what seems to work and what wasn't so effective, but we've had a good year. We've kept everyone safe. And I think the students have really enjoyed their time this year. I've certainly enjoyed it.
So saying it's your first year, what kind of experiences have you learned going through the whole teaching process?
It's a lot different than the trade, though it's very similar to a typical day at work, the way that we try to structure it here. At least I do in my program, as far as meeting in the morning and then either breaking off into groups or individual projects and heading out until the end of the day when the buses arrive.
You've probably had a good time though, right?
Oh, definitely. It's been very enjoyable.
Yeah.
I've had a good time with it so far, and looking forward to next year already.
Yeah, you're not the most experienced for teaching, but yeah, you'll learn as you go. So
yep.
And
Definitely
you're teaching something you love.
Right.
So that's always a good thing. Makes it easier. And the students are actually doing something that they want to do, so it's a lot less discipline and just
right.
a lot more, chemistry or whatever you want to call it.
Correct, yeah.
Well, what did you do before you were the instructor here at TCTC?
Before I was the instructor here, I worked for a medium-sized manufacturing company in Central Maine as a CNC machinist. I was there for 15 years, where I gained my experience in the trade, and went there right out of college after I moved on from TCTC. So I spent time there to learn the trade and become a successful CNC machinist. And
so you did CNC machining. Did you take metals here at TCTC, or what did you do?
Yes. I was a 2-year student from Nokomis Regional High School. And I took 2 years here. First year, didn't really even know anything about it, and I became interested enough in it to want to continue for a second year. And then I went on to community college for it from here.
How much has the program changed since you were a student now to a teacher?
Yeah, so the program has changed equipment-wise. Equipment has been updated. We have all matching equipment, which is a lot easier for instruction and for the students to grasp, where they can move to any machine and it's the same thing on one as the other, where we have multiple machines. We also have a Haas CNC milling center we utilize at the end of the year for first-year students, or when second-year students return. It's a good place to start for them. It's what's used in the industry more widely than some of the conventional equipment. But that conventional equipment gives them the experience to know how the machining process has to take place, and the concepts go over to the CNC side from there.
Yeah, but has the curriculum changed at all? Has it changed like that?
The curriculum really hasn't completely changed that much. I took over for the previous teacher. He had pretty much left the projects the same as they were when I took the course previously, and I've stuck with that for this year. It seemed to work pretty well, and probably have some changes for next year, but all in all, we go by the standards from they're national and by the state, and I think they're good for what students need to learn at the introductory level for this trade.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, you've had plenty of experience with metals, so you have a pretty good understanding of how it runs and how it's done. So, why do you think it's beneficial for students to take metals manufacturing?
I think the program is beneficial because it teaches something that a lot of people don't have any idea about. And the world around us is full of manufactured components wherever in the world they were made, whether it was in this country or outside of the country. From the cars that we drive every day to the power plants that keep the lights going, and it's used in all facets of life, and without this trade, a lot of other things would come to a halt. If you can't get parts, you've got parts for military, for aerospace, which are your airplane engine components, and military and defense. The Navy's a huge employer in this state with Bath Iron Works and the shipyards. So there's a lot of need for machinists or welders, fabricators, pipe fitters, people with those skill sets that can manufacture a highly precise part in a timely manner. It's cost effective. And that's the name of the game. Guy that can get the parts done the quickest with the best quality is going to get the job and make the money.
So it seems like there's a lot of jobs for metals manufacturing, a lot of purposes for metals as a whole.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
What do you think is the goal for your students after they complete metals manufacturing?
Yeah, the goal in my mind is to either get them out into the manufacturing world of whether it's machining or welding manufacturing. Students can also look at the field of manufacturing engineering, where they'd actually design parts, maybe design machinery, start designing vehicles. Some students here possibly go on and start developing electric technology for vehicles as this whole green initiative keeps on rolling over the next 5 to 10, 20 years. And as things change, parts have to change. And these students would have an opportunity to go into any of those fields and be successful right from their start here.
So, yeah, I think that's a good mindset to put your students in. I mean, there's endless amount of opportunities, especially for a program like this. Yeah, it's a great
way
thing.
More. There are a lot of jobs that are available right now, and you have the potential to get into just from a start with a manufacturing program like ours here.
So we've been talking a lot about, the future if you take this program.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the now. Like, what are some of like the safety precautions or some of the rules that you apply your students for this program? Like, what's the ground rules pretty much?
So yeah, the safety rules are very clear and straightforward, and students are required to wear protective clothing, as in denim jeans and safety boots, safety shoes, steel toes, safety glasses. Eyeglasses are required at all times in the shop. And as far as the welding, required to wear flame-resistant welding jacket, welding helmet, gloves. Just practice acting safe around this live equipment.
So, yeah, there's a lot of safety when it comes to metals. I mean, what could happen if you don't follow those precautions?
I mean, you can go from minor cuts and bruises all the way up to possibility of losing body parts. You get wrapped up in a machine because you did something incorrectly, then it's going to happen very fast, and it's going to change everything permanently forever.
I don't like the sound of that.
It's just highly stressed, and when students start out the year, we're going to start off with a 10-hour safety course, which gives them a certification from OSHA in career safe. And I think that gives them a very good feel of, okay, this has to be taken seriously. Not just wearing the safety equipment, you have to have a safe state of mind as well. At all times you're around live equipment, sharp moving objects that are spinning fast, or they're heavy. Tooling can be heavy and very sharp. Just have to keep it all in mind, no goofing around.
Yeah, that that's absolutely right. I mean, safety always first. You don't want anything to happen to your students, let alone just anything in general. I mean, it's big. That's a big thing.
Oh, definitely.
So I just want to say thank you for, coming here and doing this interview with us.
Yes,
I also wanted to wish you a happy birthday. It's your birthday.
Well, thank you.
How old are you turning?
37.
37. It's not bad. You still got life left in you.
One of the young guys here, but
hey, that's the more fun. I mean, first year of many teaching year.
Correct. Absolutely.
And today we have a guest with us. His name's Nate Schobel, and he's in the metals manufacturing class. How's your day going?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing good as well, except I sound a little sick, and I don't know why. But anyways, he's a student at metals manufacturing. Is this your first or second year?
This is my first year in that program.
In this program, okay. So why'd you decide to choose metals manufacturing?
I just thought it was interesting, I guess. That's really the only reason. Like, I did criminal justice last year, and I was like, I don't want to do that again this year, so I just wanted to try something else.
Did you have any prior knowledge to metals before you signed up for it?
No, none at all.
And what do you find interesting about metals?
I like math a lot, and you're basically just measuring stuff and doing stuff with numbers the entire time, so.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying, because, math can be interesting, and yeah. What does a typical day look like for you in your classroom?
Really, we get there, and we sit in the classroom for 5 minutes, and he tells us what the plan is for the day, and then we're out in the shop, working on our own stuff. At the beginning of the year, we were all on the same projects, but now we're kind of just doing whatever we wanted to do for our own stuff at the end of the year.
What are you working on right now?
Right now I'm making salt and pepper shakers.
Oh, wow. Nice. Metal? Out of metal?
Yep,
of
they're
course.
Stainless steel.
Oh, I couldn't imagine. I have plastic at my house, so. What kind of skills have you learned in your classroom so far?
We've learned how to use lathes, milling machines. I've learned how to weld. Learned how to use band saws and all that, surface grinders. We've learned none of the equipment I knew how to use. So I learned all of that.
What do you think what's your favorite part about metals?
Honestly, my favorite part about metals is just that I get to go in there and actually do something with my hands instead of sitting in a classroom all day.
Yeah, I agree with that. Speaking of classroom, what's the difference? So, besides doing hands-on work in your class, what else is different about TCTC rather than whatever school you go to and just sit in the classroom?
I mean, it's totally different. Like, we don't really do much hands-on at Dexter. Like, we do a little bit, but not a whole lot. It's mostly just you're learning bookwork and stuff, so.
What would you say is different about the environment as well?
I feel like people actually care at TCTC, so it makes it like you'd rather be here.
Right, because people signed up for the program, so obviously they have at least some interest in it besides having to take your core classes like English and history and math, which most people don't want to be in that class, or they have to. So, yeah, I agree with you on that. Do you wish to pursue a career in something with metals or whatever you've learned in the metals class?
Not exactly the same thing. If I was going to go into a career, it would be a machinist, was what metals manufacturing is, but I'm going to Bath Iron Works. So I'd still be in the metal industry, but I'm not going to be a machinist there.
What are you doing at Bath Iron Works?
I'm going to the apprentice school, and my career is going to be a ship fitter, but then they're going to give me a degree too. I'll be going to school at the same time.
What school?
It's through Maine Maritime.
That's a nice school. What are you majoring at Maine Maritime?
It's a mechanical engineering degree.
Engineering. Awesome. I mean, I know engineering is one of the biggest programs and one of the most growing programs out there. So, yeah, that's a good career. How did you hear about TCTC before you signed up for it?
Well, I go to Dexter, so I just kind of knew it was here, and then, like, probably my freshman or sophomore year, the guidance counselors started, like, pushing it towards us, like, giving us these, like, speeches about it, or, like, I don't know what the exact word is, but they started, like, showing us about it. Yeah, you know what I mean.
So you've always heard about it your whole life, but when did you really start to find interest in it or really want to go?
Probably like once the guidance counselors started like teaching us about it, because before, like, I knew it was here, but I never really knew anything about it. But then once they like talked to us about it, then I kind of learned what the deal was and all the programs and everything.
What do you find most interesting about about metals though?
The most interesting thing, I think the most interesting thing was welding, probably.
What about welding specifically?
I just think it's fun to do, and I had no clue, like I said at the beginning of the year, I had no clue how to do it, and now I can actually like weld stuff together decently, so it's pretty cool, I think.
What kind of projects have you made in welding so far?
We don't make actual projects in welding. All of our projects are on a milling machine or a lathe. We just have the welder for, like, if we finish a project early or something, then we can just do our own things. But I've made, like, I made flowers out of, like, washers and stuff. And then after that, I've just learned how to weld. Well, before that, I learned how to weld, I should say.
That sounds very interesting.